something you've seen that makes you believe that you'll never fade in your perfect world. Your too perfect world. Your too perfect
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Rock Pile Report podcast. I'm your host, Bill, season ticket holder Drew Gear. That's my producer, Chris Kruger, sitting across from me. And damn, it feels good to be a gangster. What a time to be alive. What a time to be a Bills fan. Guys, every week you walk around like Josh Allen and this Bills team lets you as a Bills fan walk around on Monday mornings like you're Russell Crowe in Gladiator. You just stroll into your place of work, especially if you have coworkers with different team affiliations, and you just walk around with your arms out. Like, are you not entertained? Is this not why you all love NFL football? Shower my MVP quarterback with your praises. The Buffalo Bills are not to be trifled with. Guys, it's what a week. What a time to be alive. We've got a lot to get through in tonight's show. I want to talk about this, Chris. I went to the stadium watch party for season ticket holders, and I got to tell you, the Buffalo Bills pulled out all the stops. My family and I went. I took the kids, and it was all class by the Bills. You know, legitimately free concessions. You walk around. It was messy, as you can imagine, Chris, but the idea that my kids could just go point at something on the concession board, they're like, oh, yeah, that's free. That's the thing. We just give it to you. And then they've been gouging me for beer prices for decades. The least they can do is comp my kids some free chicken fingers. Got to do a locker room tour, professional photos done at the 50-yard line with my kids. But in the run-up to those on-field photos this weekend, there was a moment because we stopped at the Bills store on the way in before it got busy, and my kids wanted a new Bills football, and I got them one. And so we get down on the field for the photos, and the staging area for it was the end zone on the tunnel side of the field, Chris. And so my kids and I got to run around and play tackle football in the end zone. And my wife held our spot in line, and we got out there, and after a few minutes, I think I said something, I threw the ball to Jack and he caught it. And then I looked at him, I was like, you just caught a touchdown where Josh Allen scores touchdowns. And to see, I imagine this is what it's like taking your kids to Disney World. I watched my son's face as he took a look up at the stands and realized oh, this is the thing I see on TV. I'm standing in the spot where Josh Allen does the thing. And just the wide-eyed wonder and how excited these kids got when they realized where they were and what they were doing. At one point they just dogpiled on top of me and stripped the ball, and they were chasing each other. And I kind of got up a little slow, and my youngest is yelling, Josh Allen, at the top of his lungs and just stiff arming kids out of the way. And I'm getting up a little slow, and this woman kind of came over and was like, are you okay? Do you need some help? Chris, I've been wearing prescription sunglasses for years, mostly because I don't want people to know how intoxicated I am in public. And if you can't see my eyes, you don't know if I've had 3 or 15. It's fine. I row the boat pretty well. Lately, especially when I'm around my kids, it's because I don't want people to see me tearing up. And it was like that thing of just, Chris, I was welling up it was just a gut punch, right? It was one of those things of just seeing my kids that happy about something like this just really, it made the whole thing for me. So then you tack on what this game turned into. This was the perfect Sunday of Bills football, maybe the most perfect I'll ever get.
Let me get to this. It has nothing to do with football. It's just an annoying Thursday morning for me because I went to Tim Hortons before work, and I entered the Tim Hortons through the entrance farthest away from the drive-thru, and I go around the building, and by about a half second, this woman comes from the opposite entrance and right into the drive-thru line. So I got my window down, and I'm not thinking anything of it, and I kind of hear this woman's order. I heard the woman at Tim Hortons go, a large Diet Coke, and then she pulled away, and my brain couldn't process it. And then I order, and then I'm sitting behind this woman going, did this bitch just order a large Diet Coke at 6:15 in the morning? What the fuck is this world coming to? What? I'm just ripping this woman in the drive-through line to myself, and get to the window, and she paid it forward. So she paid for my Tim Hortons on Thursday morning after I just motherfucked her for getting a Diet Coke at 6:15 in the morning.
I'll tell you what, man, there's a lot of crow to be eaten this week. You're not alone. You're not the only one. And I think that it's time we get into it with this week's Week 2 recap. The Buffalo Bills 30, the Jets 10. I've got your stats of the game right here. Josh Allen, 14 of 25 for 148 yards and no passing touchdowns. 6 rushes for 59 yards and a 73.4 QBR. By all accounts, not a banner day for Josh Allen. But it is. Justin Fields, 3 of 11. 27.3% completion percentage. 27 yards, 2 fumbles, 49 rushing yards that led the Jets team, and a 39.6 QBR, or at least passer rating, right? Jets running back Breece Hall averaged 2.9 yards per carry. Bills running back James Cook averaged 6.9 yards per carry, 132 yards, 2 tutties. The Jets team rushing averaged 2.8 yards per carry for all non-quarterbacks throughout the entire game. Defensive end Joey Bosa, 1 sack, 2 forced fumbles. Tre'Davious White. Chris, how many solo run stops do you think Trey White had in his first start as a Buffalo Bill this year?
5.
2, and he had 3 total tackles, but they were effective. I mean, they were, when he hit a guy, he stuck his tackles, and it was phenomenal to see. I got some numbers of note. I want you to try to guess what they are, Chris. The number 20.
Frank Gore Jr.
No, it's the number. It's the NFL record number of consecutive games the Buffalo Bills have now beat their opponent in turnover margin for. 20 consecutive games where they did not lose the turnover battle. 2021, Chris. 2021. Why is that number significant?
Is that the last time it happened?
This is the last time the Jets allowed 224 or more yards rushing. 0. What am I thinking of?
Keon Coleman.
Now it's the number of third down conversions the Jets had going into the fourth quarter. 14.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
That's how many minutes were left in the fourth quarter when CBS gave up on the national coverage and switched away from Bills Jets to go whatever was playing in those markets in the CBS, like their local affiliates. It's the earliest change in 5 years for CBS as a channel for them to go, the fourth quarter just started, but this game's not even watchable. We have our A crew here, but we're going to send it out to what? Pittsburgh and Cleveland or
Pittsburgh played Seattle.
That was probably a Fox game.
No, that was, I don't remember. It might have been the Jacksonville Bengals game because that kind of went down to the wire and Burrow was out. They definitely didn't change the game in down in Atlanta because I talked to my mom the entire day and she got fucked because in Atlanta they switched the CBS affiliate in August. They changed from 46 to 69. She had no idea. But she watched the whole game.
I like Canine Skull in the comments. Anyone else like seeing Taylor still out there trying to make a name for himself as QB1 after 15 seasons? It's crazy to think. When I saw Tyrod Taylor come out on the field, I openly applauded. I was like, this is the best. And then I immediately turned it to the Dolphins-Patriots game. I immediately put that game on TV because you weren't going to get me to watch the Tyrod Taylor Jets. I'm not doing that to myself. Chris, what bourbon behind me would you like me to fill my hand with? I'm about to get philosophical for a minute.
I would turn around and then I would middle row all the way to the right. Savage and Cook. Go with that one.
We're going to do a little Savage and Cook here, boys. I have a somewhat theological viewpoint on this game. Okay? For Jets fans, content creators, even the team's head coach, Aaron Glenn. They all kind of brought this on themselves. Okay? They've all broken at least one of the 7 deadly sins. Chris, they've all sinned. And we as the Buffalo Bills are here. Like, we are their penance. That's what this is. I want to start with their local content community and the sin of envy, right? Because envy's not a good thing. It's not a good look for anybody when you go, I'm really jealous of this thing, so I'm going to talk about something as if I am this thing. Chris, I want to, for those of you watching live, you're going to hear this. This was a thing, a real thing, some idiot with a microphone said. Do you have the audio from U Stadium?
Yeah, I do.
Guys, some idiot with a microphone actually said this about this upcoming Bills-Jets game.
I have a feeling that the Buffalo defense is not good this year. I don't like their defensive coordinator much at all, Bobbish, and I really think that Tanner Angstrand's going to have their number all day. The Jets coming off a bad loss in a game that I don't care what anybody tells me, guys, they should have won. So I think they're going to come out and they want to win this game, and they almost have to win this game. So I just think it's ours. And I don't think Buffalo played as good as people think. I know they're rah-rahing everywhere, and they're number 1 in power rankings because they beat Baltimore. They didn't play good until the fourth quarter. They got gashed up. I think we're going to beat them at home, and we have their number at home, so I have no reason to not believe it.
That's some guy from the internet that shouldn't be on the internet.
So, Chris, if you go through our bookmarks or go back to the link, I want this guy's name. It's Frankie something. But for those of you, if you go find it, Chris, because I'm going to retweet it right now, so it's at the top of our timeline. Go to our Twitter at Rockpile Report. You can go see this. For those of you familiar with the 1990s Nickelodeon show Salute Your Shorts, this guy is the closest thing I've ever seen to a dead ringer for donkey lips. He looks like the human embodiment of what flops sweat. Like that statement, that's what this guy looks like.
There you go.
No, keep going.
Donkey. Well, I don't even know what that is.
Donkey lips. Scroll down, keep going. So, imagine you have to sit here as his cohort. Okay, so what's his name?
Frankie Vitz.
Frankie Vitz on Twitter. Well, I'll tell you what. First of all, imagine being one of the 3 panelists who have to sit on a podcast if they hear something like that and nod along like that. What he just said makes sense. First of all, it's Babbage. Bobbish. What? You could just Google it. You mushmouth hack. Just Google it and let Google tell you how the guy's name is pronounced. Watch a video ever about the team in the post-game press conference where they'll show you how his name is pronounced. I don't know. Like, there's any way to go about it.
Who's number 5 for the Bills?
Who's number 5?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to know this?
I don't know. Just foreshadowing for the preview where you called Josh Palmer James Palmer.
Listen, see, exactly. James Palmer. It bothers me that he's so cavalier being so wrong about the rah-rah-rahing. Yes, I love how you can go, hey, I watched an MVP quarterback go win a game by throwing 251 yards in the fourth quarter and go, I get it, the Bills are rah-rah-rah. Everyone's rah-rah-rahing over Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, they are. Because what they did was, it's unprecedented. But sure, you can try to play it down because you're jealous. That's fine. You have clear little brother energy, and the fact that you resent us being talked about this powerful offense, despite theirs not fielding one for what, Chris, the last 3 years? When's the last time the Jets had an offense that was worth a shit? I'll wait.
Sanchez, Rex Ryan, where they ran the ball a lot.
Was that offense good, or did that defense hold them back? Google it. Pro Football Reference, and just go look up the 20. Give it a Google and figure out where they ranked, because I bet you their offense wasn't that good. I think they probably just, there we go. Here we go. So they lost in the conference. Okay, so offensive rank, they were in the teens. They weren't even that good when they were good last. Their offense was middle of the pack. Their defense was just very good. Like, that's hilarious that you take to the air with no real understanding of your own team's history and say something as foolish as, we have their number at home. According to what? When he had the, According to what? Because you guys won a fluke game where your quarterback hilariously just like died on the field on the fourth play of the game, and then we somehow just fumbled it away to them. Chris, there's so much wrong here, right? Like, look at this. The Bills-Jets in their rivalry over the last handful of years since 2021, the Jets have averaged 15.1 points per game. And this hack comes out on the airwaves and goes, well, we have their number at home. What number? What are you talking about? You brought this game on yourselves. This is hubris, sir. They go, Tanner Engstrom. Tanner Engstrom's going to have their number. Chris, when's the last time a Jets offense had literally anybody's number?
I've never heard of that guy.
Like, if you want to say things that are crazy, like Nick Wright will say things to rile up our fan base because he knows it'll get clicks and views, you have to say it emphatically as if you believe it. I just hope that this guy, I hope his co-hosts afterwards were like, you do know that, you need to be medicated now. We actually have to call somebody. We're going to talk to your therapist. These are the realities of the Jets offense, which the Bills D expertly unraveled. Do you know that only one player on the Jets offensive line finished with a positive run blocking grade for the day? It's almost like they don't block well. He made a comment about Bobby Babish and said something about Matt Milano being old.
Yeah.
It was hilarious because Matt Milano shot the gap for a tackle for loss on the very first play of the game. From Jump Street. They're like, don't worry, guys, we can lean on the run. You go to run the ball and there's a linebacker just in your running back's face off the hop. The physicality of our front seven just completely unraveled everything the Jets wanted to do.
Per Pro Football Reference, if I have this right, since 2017, the Jets have beaten the Bills 3 times at home.
That's amazing. That's amazing. But sure, they've got our number. It's awesome. Matt Milano, 3 solo run stops. Terrell Bernard, 2. Tre'Davious White, 2 solo run stops. Chris, it's almost like that rushing attack that they were looking for didn't materialize, did it?
No, it didn't.
No, it did not. The Bills owned the trenches. This was big boy football. They got in there and said, hey, you want to take away our passing game? Fine. We'll roughhouse you on offense. And by the way, when we get out there on defense, we don't need Ned Oliver. We bring in Zion Logue off the practice squad. We are going to roughhouse you on the defensive line, and you will not orchestrate a rushing attack. And you in the stats to start the show, we smothered them. And from that was supposed to flow their entire passing attack. It's crazy when you look at the passer chart. All right, so if I go to NFL Next Gen Stats and I try to find, where is it here? Did he even qualify for a passer chart? I don't think he did. I'm looking for the week 2 passer chart for
Justin Fields,
and I'm not seeing one.
I bet Tyrod Taylor's
he didn't
chart.
qualify for a passer chart. That's how bad things went. They only got to run 9 offensive plays before the Bills already had 17 points. It was insanity to sit there as a Jets fan and talk about how you thought you had a puncher's chance, and then your team puts up that performance. There are things where you can point to it and say, well, I had a good opinion of my team, and then things got away from me. You don't get to talk about how Tanner Engstrom is going to have his way with the Buffalo Bills, and then they put up that performance. Your team is all thoughts and talk. They're gutless. That was a gutless offensive performance. Okay? Everything they were going to do was heavily predicated on the run, and the Jets' offensive line being better than the opponent's defensive line. Last week, they got lucky against Pittsburgh, who didn't see what they had in store coming. You put 1 week of tape out there for Sean McDermott, and they picked apart your entire approach. So all this talk about Tanner Engstrom being the answer for first-time head coach Aaron Glenn, I don't want to see, Chris, what is that from Major League? That's a good start. Now, if it happens twice, that's great. And if you do it 3 times, that's what we call a streak.
Yeah, it's what we call a winning streak.
If Tanner Engstrom goes out and puts up another nothing burger because teams have started to figure out, hey, they have to run the ball or else Justin Fields sucks at passing it, this whole season could come off the rails very quickly offensively. The Jets could go right back from this week 1 outburst where they shocked everybody to being the Dolphins after everyone figured out the Wildcat. And I feel like they're on that slippery slope. It's just incredible. And one of the things that I thought was so cool, I really expected the Bills to be, I'm on the football field. I haven't been paying attention to an active list. I'm down there on the Bills field and I'm looking up at the scoreboard, watching the game being played while I'm in the stadium. And I'm watching us just dominate them in the trenches. And I go, we must be playing more base like we did last week with Dorian Williams, Matt Milano, Terrell Bernard. We must be playing more base defense to be able to get this type of push up front against them. Do you know that we played, without Teron Johnson, Cam Lewis played nickel the entire game?
Didn't notice it.
70% of the snaps for Cam Lewis. So we played nickel, and we got that level of disruption. It's crazy to think that this front, in the span of 1 week, went from being the just the epitome of discombobulation, the epitome of lacking communication, to being a unit that from front to back was so dialed in with each other that there were so many turnover-worthy plays that we were just a day late and a dollar short on, but it didn't matter because we smothered them running the ball and they had no answer for anything else. Also, Justin Fields in the offensive line, you've committed the deadly sin of sloth. The Bills under Sean McDermott have done a great job against rookie quarterbacks specifically, but also average quarterbacks. And the league is full of them. The NFL is full of average quarterback play because it's very hard to find a Lamar Jackson. It's very hard to find a Josh Allen. It's very hard to find what, Chris? Who else would you anoint as an elite quarterback now that your friend Derek Carr retired?
Well, hey. Dude's gone from elite on the field to elite in the studio. That guy's going to get a fucking TV job after his appearance on doing the Brazil game on YouTube. But I'm out of elite quarterbacks in the NFL.
I love in the comments, Super Mexican, the Chiefs can still go undefeated if Mike Pence has the courage. I don't even know what that means. I love that I can look at our comment stream and there's just wild conversations taking place that I don't even understand the context to. 29 watching, 25 without thumbs. I don't know what this means. I just know that I'm here for it.
The corpse of Mario Granada's in the chat.
There we go. Carr, I've heard it all now. Hashtag sports. I love it. Here's what I do know. If Justin Fields is ever going to change the narrative about his career, and the way everyone was saying he might have, like, hey, the new Justin Fields, he's turning the page. He's reinvented himself. He needs to process everything faster. You can't be slow. And what you saw from Justin Fields was just throws that were either behind. Like, there's one when they're trying to go down late to get points in that first half. And this is a throw to a guy who, if he catches it, I think it's like a fullback or a tight end, and if he catches it, he runs for another 20, 30 yards up the sideline. Justin Fields puts it behind him in the flat. I don't understand how you do that. The guy is uncovered. You have no reason to rush the throw. You're just wildly off the mark because maybe you're not a good quarterback. I don't know. And his protection needs to matter, right? His offensive line can't be as bad as they were when it comes to just owning the line of scrimmage. It's pathetic how bad that Jets offensive line was in almost literally every single phase of the game. When you look at it, okay, they gave up sacks, they gave up pressures, 12 pressures, which I think for a lot of teams you go, oh, that's acceptable. Armand Membu, remember how much our friend Scott Mason from Play Like a Jet talked up Membu and what a great performance he had. He led the team in pressures and quarterback hurries allowed because he's a rookie. And that's what happens when you put a rookie up against Joey Bosa. Also, Fashanu, like your left tackle, 3 pressures. Why? Because these are young players going up against Sean McDermott. He's going to fake inside. Like, there's a couple plays where they pulled stunts and you saw those rookies look like rookies. Then there's a couple plays where they loaded up, then crashed the defensive lineman inside and blitzed a linebacker or a defensive back around the outside. And that's supposed to be the guy that the tackle breaks out and takes. And both of those young players just looked lost. And there's Justin Fields just scrambling around inside the pocket. It was really funny to watch happen. And again,
Mario's telling you to pump your brakes.
Listen, Mario, dude has 8 starts in the past 2 years. Pump your brakes. Here's what I'll say. Those tackles, not great. That line, not great. That quarterback, you're all slow. You know?
Yeah. Your teeth.
Well,
Not great.
no. And what did they say? Drunken stupid is no way to go through life? Was that from Animal House?
Sure.
Drunk and stupid is no way to go through life. Slow and stupid is no way to go through life. And that's what the Jets offense was this past weekend. Like, it was wildly predictable. And it's crazy because if you look at NFL Next Gen stats, do you know who finished in the upper echelon of the NFL for wide receiver separation this past week?
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson was, I believe, let me fact check myself here. In terms of separation, Garrett Wilson was second in the NFL. Didn't matter. He couldn't help his team because his team was already beat the second they snapped the ball. Everything that this skill position group for the Jets tried to do failed on that hill of just our offensive line is slow, our quarterback's slow, he doesn't process well, and this all sucks. This all sucks and we're all going to die here. It's almost like the entire team pulled a Hudson from Alien 2. Game over, man. Game over. As soon as they went down. Chris, do you know how demoralizing it has to be to a football team? Right? Where you go, hey, okay, we're going to keep pace. Hey, we held the Bills. Okay, it's 7 points. We can go down and score. Okay, it's 10 points. Okay, it's 17 points. Okay, it's 20 points. And you're just watching the Bills do nothing special, but the game is just slowly getting out of hand. Just slowly and absurdly getting out of hand. And one of my favorite things, the guy who talked up Tanner Engstrom. Your offensive coordinator is great, right? You know what he did? Late in the game, he got your quarterback crucified. All you Jets fans out there, because he left a tight end on an island. He called a play that literally left a tight end blocking Joey Bosa mano-a-mano. On that play, your quarterback had a forced fumble and got concussed and got knocked out of the game, and that was the end of any comeback hope you ever had. But sure, go ahead and tell me about how great Tanner Engstrom is. I don't want to hear any more about it. I don't. Like, Chris, just the sins, right? Like, you think about what the byproduct of all those mistakes by the Jets are. The Jets had 5 yards of offense before halftime at one point.
That checks out. Now, for most of the first quarter, I don't think into the second, the Jets would do something, and you were like, Jets seem to be turning it around. And then there's a flag on the field, and they just shoot themselves in the foot. They did that like 5 times in the first half.
And at one point, somebody I was standing in line with while we were down on the field, because they're playing the game on all the screens inside the stadium, and he goes, well, you know, the Bills are going to get a lot of calls in these sorts of games. And then they replay what the ref threw the flag for, and I go, yeah, that's blatant holding. That is blatant holding. There was no reason to do that. It's wild that he tried it. They're just a poorly coached, undisciplined team. And they committed a lot of sins. And the last of them, look at this, hashtag sports, got to say no BS. I love y'all setup. Bravo, Chris. Nice work. Look at you, Chris. Pat yourself on the back. Get yourself some dap in your hair.
I will pat myself on the back like Barry Horowitz.
Yeah, the Jets not going for it on down 20-0, and it was 4th and like 2, and they punted. It's like, guys, you're dead. But again, we'll talk about the baptism of Aaron Glenn, because that's kind of my chef's kiss to end the show. I want to talk about the Bills for a little bit, and I want to talk about Joe Brady and just how every offensive coordinator in the NFL should be jealous of Joe Brady. And this game kind of underscored why. Right? Like, when you look around the NFL and you think about teams that you want to have good offenses, Chris, the Bengals, they've got star playmakers, but their team has no backbone on either side of the ball. They've got star pass rushers. They've got wide receivers. They've got a highly paid quarterback who he's captain if. Everyone keeps telling me, well, you know, if Joe Burrow could just stay healthy, if they had an offensive line, he could be an MVP too. If ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. I can't help you there. What I will tell you is that they have all of this star power and no backbone to build up a team around it. Look at the Cowboys. They're the same thing, but with a worse quarterback. Look at the Dolphins. They're the same idea. Hey, we drafted pass rushers. We paid pass rushers. We paid wide receivers and drafted wide receivers. And we've got this high-flying passing offense and running game that can score 70 points in a game. What's our critical flaw? Our coaching staff is awful. Our coaching staff is awful. And once again, Chris, our line is terrible, both inside and out. The Ravens, your quarterback is hyper athletic. He is a 2-time MVP. Your offense as a whole is on point and can execute, and you can bully teams. You can air it out when you have to. Your defense can get takeaways, but your quarterback isn't quite as clutch as you would like him to be. He just doesn't have that killer instinct when games get tight and it really matters late in the year. And he's also a little bit slight of frame, so he's more more apt to get nicked up, to take a hit from Ed Oliver on 4th and 3, and you have to limp off the field instead of being out there for your team to win a game in hostile territory that maybe, I don't know, lets you pace the AFC for the foreseeable future. The Chiefs, yes, even the Kansas City Chiefs, they make this list. Do you want to know why? Their offensive tackles are average. Anybody who watched that Eagles game yesterday, the Chiefs tackles are average. And their wide receiver depth chart's just riddled with injuries, suspensions, and even when they get those guys back, look at Travis Kelce, their star player. He's showing the signs of age that you expect from a guy who's at this point in his career. He's a star. He's still Travis Kelce. He can still have moments, but now he's got to force it. In where it used to be effortless for Travis Kelce to just go out there and look like a god among men, he now has a lot of moments where he looks really average. And that's what getting old in the NFL looks like when you're an elite athlete. We've all seen it. Okay? Then you look at what the Buffalo Bills are and you look at what Joe Brady has to work with, and it's an embarrassment of riches. You know, the Jets decide that they're going to do what it's in the Jets' DNA. We're going to play man defense. On third down, we're going to line up. We're going to be physical with your wide receivers. And the Bills' wide receivers don't separate well. That's known. The book is out on that. And they say, okay, that's fine. We have a counterpunch. And it's not a counterpunch like a jab. It's a counterpunch like that body shot that Mike Tyson hit Mr. Beast with. For those of you who haven't seen that clip, please go look it up on Twitter. Mike Tyson playfully gave Mr. Beast a body punch on like a live stream at a boxing match. And at one point, like they had to kind of cut away to a break or go to a different feed because Mr. Beast couldn't breathe and they thought he was going to pass out. I actually sent that clip to Bruce Nolan, Chris, and I was like, you know what the funny thing is? People who have never been punched, like really punched, on paper philosophically believe they can eat a punch. I bet you to yourself are like, you know, if someone was going to punch me, I could probably take it.
I mean, I've only been punched in the terms of hockey.
Okay.
In like I mean, I don't know. I'm sure this has been told on the show before, but the first time that I got in a fight on the rink, my brother was officiating the game and broke it up.
I'm not going to lie. I would have fought him for that. I would have been like, no, you let me go. Also, me and my brothers, the way we roll, we would have just lumped up whoever it was. My brother would have been the ref. If it was my brother in your shoes, I would have just beat up that kid and then gotten tosses and ump and, hey, listen, we're down for the cause. We were kind of like a pack of dogs. But I'll tell you this, Joe Brady not only gets to have an MVP quarterback at his disposal, he not only gets a growing talent in Keon Coleman and a third down just maven in Khalil Shakir, whose stats pace every single wide receiver and playmaker in the NFL on third down. He is so crucial to what the Bills do. But then when you decide, hey, guess what? We're not going to give you space for any of that. None of this fancy motion stuff. We're going to man you up and be physical with your wide receivers, and we're going to suppress your quarterback's production. Joe Brady goes, I'm going to throw you a little James Cook. and we just bludgeon you with the rushing attack. Not just beat you, not just pace the game. And hey, Chris, we're staying in control of the game. We bludgeon you to death with the rushing attack. The way everyone expects the Ravens rushing attack to be is what the Buffalo Bills actually are. And it's wild. 2 40-yard runs. 2 plus 40-yard runs in the same game. One of them for a touchdown. One of them, Josh just like gave himself up because he didn't want to get hit. James Cook is a weapon. And the reason you paid him is for that 40-yard touchdown. Future be damned. If you're going to win a Super Bowl today, it's going to be because you paid James Cook this past offseason. Look at this guy when he's out there in the open field. And it's not only his open field running ability, it's in the hole. When you watch him run between the tackles for a running back his size, guys like that, Chris, get swallowed up, don't they? Mm-hmm. CJ Spiller was a guy who the Bills thought had a lot of promise, and they would it was nothing but stretch plays.
Hold on, I'm going to bounce this to the outside.
Yeah, every play was a counter out. It was a pitch out. It was a stretch play to get Spiller on the edges of a defense because they didn't trust him to run between the tackles. I'm going to read you an angry text that I got from a guy who's going to be listening to this podcast.
Is this our lawyer?
No. This is a pilot. Let me go back and find him here. Where are we?
Oh, not the pilot from Florida.
No,
we know a pilot.
Eric Harris angrily texted our group chat. And he goes, I love me some James Cook, but today every single run is 2 steps forward and a jump cut to the right. Every single one. Run something different. Literally not even 5, 6, 7 offensive plays later. It's a run to the hole, a jump cut to the right, and Cook is off to the races for a 40-yard touchdown. I was like, do you not understand that your constant negativity is hilarious in the sense that these guys are gamers. These guys are ballers. James Cook is phenomenal at what he does. And I texted him, I go, this is going on the podcast. I have to talk about this because the timing of this could not be funnier. He goes, yeah, right after I texted that, I haven't seen it since. I deserve that. I deserve everything I'm about to get. James Cook is a weapon. Also, this line is a problem. Chris, that jump cut to the right, do you want to know why it worked? Torrance and Spencer Brown put on a clinic of how to, like, for those of you who are familiar, okay? The Mighty Ducks D2 with the Bash Brothers, okay?
I hate those movies.
The Buffalo Bills right side of the offensive line and Osiris Torrance and Spencer Brown, they roughhouse people. When I say roughhouse, it's the term I use when I'm talking to my kids and I go, hey, listen, don't make me roughhouse you, which means I'm literally just going to bulldog you to the ground and we're going to rumble and we're going to roll around and I'm going to give you the business. They're doing this on every play. And if you call duo blocks and they get their hands on you, Chris, they not only latch on and move people. Quinnen Williams had no shot against these guys. There was not a defensive lineman on the Jets roster that could hold up to the duo of Torrance and Brown, but also they're dicks about it. They're not even nice. They're not even like, hey, I'm a technician and I went out here and I blocked the hell out of you on a play. Good job. They pick you up off the ground. Everybody high fives each other and then you all go have candy after the game. No. Spencer Brown and Osiris Torrance are dicks about it. And Brown, I think some of his play style is starting to rub off on Torrance, and it's been fun to watch through the early part of the season. Because if you ever watch, guys, I challenge you next week, watch Brown after the whistle. He will be shoving a guy in the face mask for no reason, just because. Oh, Torrance is going to have a guy by the jersey just grinding him into the grass. Well, after the whistle's been over, they go out there and they roughhouse. They're the big brothers out there just handing out noogies and Indian burns. And there's nothing anyone can do about it. It's a great thing as an offensive coordinator to have at your disposal. You go, I have got an MVP quarterback. And if you take that away, I've got a star running back. I've also got 2 linemen who are, I'd love to be a fly on the wall of the defensive line meeting rooms, Chris, when you have to play the Bills. And people go, All right, so you're going to get matched up against Spencer Brown, and he is going to face shove you a lot. Don't let him draw a penalty. Don't retaliate. Just eat it. Chris, do you know how maddening that has to be?
Yeah. We get Bricky in the comments loves Jackson Hawes.
Jackson Hawes fits right into this group. They're building the bully that we were promised under Rex Ryan. Just this vicious, bullying, highly technical offensive line. Look at Deion Dawkins. If they said, hey, okay, we want to stay away from the bullies over on the right side. Let's go to the left side. Oh, that Deion Dawkins, he's a technician. Don't mess with him. He's just going to ice pick you, which is his patented move to swipe the hands, just chop them, and then bully you to the ground. And people don't know how to respond to that. NFL pros do not know how to respond to that. And they just bury these guys on the edges. No one gets close to Josh. And at the same time, if they're running the ball, they just batter people. Just use technique to batter them. And so you as a coordinator have a bunch of receivers who are all capable of doing a lot of things. Like, Chris, imagine a week where you have, and this is a storyline that I want Bills Mafia to keep an eye on. A developing storyline that Curtis Samuel is now healthy. He's just been a healthy scratch for 2 straight weeks. Meanwhile, Elijah Moore is getting run, and in this game, Elijah Moore was everything he needed to be. When you go down your wide receiver depth chart and you go, hey, I need a gadget play guy. I need a satellite receiver who can take a jet sweep, who can take a shallow pass and maybe do something with it in the open field. Chris, this is Elijah Moore is turning into everything we wanted out of Isaiah McKenzie and everything that we paid Curtis Samuel to be. That doesn't bode well for Curtis Samuel, does it?
Yeah, he's been.
You're fucking inactive.
Yeah.
Another guy who the team signed as kind of a lark in the offseason is taking your job. And yet you, as Joe Brady, get to sit back and go, well, look at my bag. Look, if you were talking about this in a golf analogy, I've got a bag of clubs. And I've got my driver, which is just Josh Allen. And if I need to, I will hammer. I'll hit 290 with this thing. I will go yard on you in the fourth quarter when I need to, and I will empty the clip on you. And my quarterback is just Diesel. He'll make it happen. But at the same time, I can also just chip, and I can putt, and I've got all kinds of things at my disposal, and I have a full array, and I'm well versed in all of them. I think that this year we're probably going to get to see some of Brady's finest and most complete offensive coordinating, because last week it was pass heavy when he needed to bail out. And this week it was let's see how many times I can refresh the run game. Whether it was Ray Davis, whether it was Ty Johnson, he kept the run game fresh and kept the Jets guessing for 4 straight quarters. Do you know how hard it is, Chris, to do that when they know you're running?
It's got to be hard.
Every offensive coordinator in football should be jealous of Joe Brady right now. And if they're not, they will be after they play us. So with that, I want to get to the hero and zero, and then I want to talk a little bit about Aaron Glenn. Our hero of the game is defensive end Joey Bosa.
Don't take it personally, all right? Franchise star players are a lot like Highlanders. There can only be one.
Joey Bosa last week caught a lot of shade from me in particular. I talked a lot of smack. I maybe made some drunken, angry tweets. I wasn't thrilled with what Bosa put out there on the field, but there again, I don't know what his job was. And I think that this is a sobering moment for anybody who does this. Well, I say sobering as I sit here with whiskey and beer. Anybody who sits here and goes, well, Joey Bosa was terrible and he looks washed. Yeah, but I don't know what he was asked to do on a given play. It's what makes the film analyst, quote unquote. Even them are hard. They're unreliable sometimes because you don't know what the play was. So if you want to follow PFF's metrics and you go, Taylor Rapp was terrible against the Ravens, and you go, well, wait a minute. He kept getting just absolutely submarined by Cole Bishop not knowing where to be. Why did Cole Bishop not catch the shade instead of Taylor Rapp? It's all about how you watch the game. So going into this week, after being disappointed in Joey Bosa's debut, I couldn't have been happier with what I saw out of the guy that they took a $12 million flyer on, and I thought was a liability, Chris. I thought that Joey Bosa was going to be I'm a pessimist. I'm a Bills fan. As a Bills fan, I'm used to these investments not paying out. but he was the Bills' highest rated defender of the week. 7 total pressures, 1 sack, 1 hit, 2 forced fumbles, 2 solo run stops. The guy was a monster. He was unblockable. There was nothing they could do. Joey Bosa ate their defensive tackles alive. And here's what but if there's something to be said, it's that, remember how we talked last week how I wasn't happy that he played 70% of the snap share?
Yeah.
Do you know how many snaps he played in this one?
No.
26. That's the perfect number. The Buffalo Bills maximized the impact of Joey Bosa while not exposing him to the rigors of run defense. And the scoreboard obviously helps that, right? But again, that's what you paid $12 million for. When Michael Hoyt and Larry Ogunjobi come back, I'm not going to need Joey Bosa to do 70% of the snaps. What I need you for is closing time. And he paid wild dividends in this. Joey Bosa was one of the most fun players to go back and rewatch during this game, just watching the way he whipped ass. And again, the most hilarious play of the game is where the Jets, Tanner Engstrom, their offensive coordinator, the genius who was just going to unravel Bobby Babich, left a tight end to block Joey Bosa. And the result was a concussed quarterback, and now you're putting Tyrod Taylor on the field to mount the comeback? Or just, Chris, at that point, you probably admit defeat, right?
Yeah, you got to throw in the towel there.
Steve Noble in the comments, Bosa has 3 forced fumbles in 2 weeks. He's an assassin. He's veteran. This game made me so much happier just to see him be a presence on the field. And to watch him pace this defense, because he brings something. You saw it this week. You didn't see it last week. You saw it this week, where he's special. We have a lot of really good defensive players. We've got good linebackers. Greg Rousseau is good. Ed Oliver is very good in spots when he gets help. Joey Bosa is special. Only a special player could put on the performance he did this week. And it's a hell of a thing that he is a Buffalo Bill. Now, can we get him? Chris, I have this fear where, in a hockey game when it's late and you're like, garage, just get this thing in the garage. That's how I am with Joey Bosa's health. I'm like, please just get us to the playoffs without him getting hurt. Can we put him in mothballs right now and just go? I've seen enough. I know he'll work in this defensive scheme. Just get me to January with Joey Bosa still walking around, and I feel really good about what this defense can be. And then it wouldn't be fair if I didn't talk about this. The runner-up because it almost feels like low-hanging fruit to give it to him, but for a whole different reason, I got to bring it up. Quarterback Josh Allen as the runner-up hero of the week. Because last week I talked in the segment where we talked about Lamar and Josh and why Josh will forever, in my mind, rank higher. And just his makeup, his toughness, his physicality. He took that and just set it in stone this week. In a league that almost seems to be dictated. Like, imagine being a Cincinnati Bengals fan right now. Your team has star players. You've got some of the best wide receivers in football. You also have Jake Browning throwing the football for the next 3+ months of the NFL season. And you're supposed to go out and win the AFC North, Chris? Chris, what are you supposed to do if you're a Bengals fan and you just lost your quarterback to a toe injury?
Sell.
Which also, how crazy is it the Bengals don't have a fucking cart? You made your $200 million quarterback limp up the tunnel? I understand cheap. I'm cheap. I buy zip ties and duct tape. You want to know why? Because I don't like paying for things. I like to be able to fix things on the cheap. Buy a golf cart! A golf cart! You don't need to buy a Gator. You don't need to buy the paddy wagon that every other NFL team has. No! You instead decide that you're going to make your $200 million quarterback walk with the help of what I assume are janitors up the tunnel.
You know what they got to bring back?
It's out of control.
You got to bring back the helmet cart. I think I think only 2 teams can pull that off, and they're both in Ohio.
I'm not going to lie to you. If I saw that thing with Joe Burrow in it, I would throw a beer at it. There's no way. Like, if I'm a Cincinnati fan, I'm devastated by how cheap and just the offensive line. Like, so I sent a thing because we have a group chat with the bootleg football guys, and I sent them Warren Sharp's thing here. You want to know what's depressing? Quarterback contact between Andrew Luck and Joe Burrow is shockingly similar. Their contact percentage is exactly the same at 21%. Joe Burrow he's already been sacked more times than Andrew Luck. His pressure percentage is exactly the same. His quarterback contact numbers lower, but not by much. He is on the Andrew Luck train. This team is trying to ruin the only good thing they've had in 50. Chris, how long ago was Carson Palmer their quarterback? 20 years?
It's been a while.
They're trying to ruin it. In a league that is predicated on whether you have a quarterback or do not have one. Look at the Washington Commanders. They haven't played well. They got by the Giants. They got smoked by the Green Bay Packers. And now their quarterback has a knee injury that might keep him out of the games. A favorite in the offseason is probably that made the championship game last year, or at least the divisional round, is going to now maybe flummox itself. Like, it's just going to falter and fall apart and wither on the vine. And the Washington Commanders are probably going to waste half a season if their quarterback is hurt. In a league that is now dedicated to, if you have a star quarterback and he's healthy, you'll win. And if you do not have one, you will fail. Josh Allen gets to walk around as the closest thing the NFL has ever seen to T-1000 from the movie Terminator 2. There is nothing you can do to this guy, Chris, that can put him down. People have tried. I think back to the Tampa Bay game where he clearly had a foot sprain. And he came out and gutted it out and was running through their secondary for first downs. Josh Allen is the NFL's T-1000. There's nothing you can do. If you try to get in a car and drive away from us, Josh Allen, look, the Miami Dolphins figured it out. He will stalk you down. He's inevitable. You try to blow him up, you try to batter him. You can't do that. He's tougher than you. Physically, he will outmatch you. Michael Clemens, on this play in this game, he takes a fist to the face and it breaks his nose. And, you know, that hit by Michael Clemens brought me right back to Deion Dawkins and the whole, like, calling Clemens a punk bitch in the tunnel. Like, I was like, oh, that's a sucker punch. That sucks. What a shitty move by the Jets. He comes off the field, gets patched up, and Tony Romo is just incredulous because he comes right back into the game like nothing happened with tissues wadded up in his nostrils. Chris, I expect this from boxers. I expect this from MMA fighters. I expect this from hockey players. Hockey players are known for losing teeth, getting their faces stitched up literally on the bench during playoff games. There's a player that Chris will remember the story, Kevin Bieksa. He was a defenseman for the Vancouver Canucks, and he did one of the craziest things. He blocked a shot, and in doing so, broke his foot. Puck hits him on a slap shot right in the skate. And he goes in for the second period intermission, and they go, hey, we got to get that off and look at it. And he was like, is it going to swell? And they were like, yeah. He goes, no, you tighten that skate up. I'm finishing this game. And he finished a hockey game and logged 8 minutes in a third period with a broken foot. Chris, that's toughness. Josh Allen gives us that, except in the NFL, which is a terrifying prospect. And then there's this quote from Deion Dawkins. I took a screenshot of it because it was just, it got me fired up while I was sitting on the toilet reading it. And for those of you who frown upon that kind of thing, I don't know what you do. Hang on. Deion Dawkins goes, it just shows Josh is not fake. It shows he wears that MVP title. Anybody could have came out and sat on the sideline and said, yeah, take your time. My nose is bleeding. I'm not going back in. Instead, he comes right back in with 2 bloody nose plugs and he can't even breathe. It shows you what type of kid he is. And how do you think about an NFL locker room? Think about a team. When you look at your offensive line and you're out there with just blood, just crusted blood all over your face and a fresh jersey because there was too much blood on it, they couldn't let you go back in the game with it. And you're out there on the football field and you look at that offensive line and go, hey, boys, are we tough or what? Are we going to be tough today or what? Spencer Brown he's going to headbutt everyone to death. Spencer Brown is giving someone the Coco Beware off the top rope headbutt during this game because he's so fired up. That's how you become a leader of men. And unfortunately, the New York Jets don't have one. And that's why this week's Zero of the Week is Jets head coach Aaron Glenn.
You folks fell on your face. You get an F- in my book.
In a show where I've made multiple biblical references to sins and defaults, for Aaron Glenn, you might have committed the worst sin of all, which was pride. Aaron Glenn walked away from last week's game against the Pittsburgh Steelers with almost a sense of, I don't want to say cockiness, but a quiet confidence. He had a Sean McDermott level of confidence about his team, the way they executed, how close they came to winning that football game. And I think that I understand a little bit of it because you see, like, his career has had a moderate uptick in success. He was a assistant to a coordinator to a head coach pretty quickly. And so his star rose very fast, and that's awesome progress for a guy. And so when he comes into his very first game as a head coach against for a team that Chris is not used to being competitive, and then he goes out there and almost wins against the Steelers, everyone starts applauding and going, hey, we might be onto something. And the problem with that is that you buy that. You don't stay humble. You don't stay hungry. Chris, whose mantra is that? Humble and hungry?
Yeah.
So some coaches believe in that.
Laisel's in here, humble and hungry on the toilet.
Humble and hungry on the toilet.
Because we eat sandwiches on the toilet.
Guys, Ryan Laisel and I have had this argument. We do not eat on the toilet in my house. He begs to differ. He goes, sometimes it's the only piece you get when you have multiple kids in the house. I would rather starve than eat a thing in the bathroom. How does the chat feel about that? Now, I want to go back to my point here about Aaron Glenn. See, Aaron Glenn took a rudderless franchise and made them look respectable, and I think he believed his own hype. He started to drink his own Kool-Aid. The fact that his no-name coordinator, who the Lions didn't really fight that hard to keep as a coach, and all this, maybe the Jets truly were on the come up. Maybe I am the guy. Maybe I am Aaron Glenn, the next up-and-coming thing in the AFC East. He allowed himself to believe that. And the sin of pride, man, that's a tough one. And Chris, do you have the audio from his post-game press conference? Sunday happened, and it took a prideful coach who was really impressed by his team, and we're going to build on this, and it left him saying this.
When it comes to this game, very disappointing, very disappointing. All three phases, to be honest with you. And I just told the players, first off, I got to take a look at myself. I want to take a look at every player, and I want to take a look at every coach. Right? There's no stone that won't go unturned, right, without figuring out the issue. But I do know this, and I told these guys this. I've been here before with two teams, in New Orleans and Detroit. The one thing that we're not going to do is we're not going to waver with not one bit. Not one bit. The brand that we say that we're going to play, right, we're going to play that type of game, right, and our guys will get better. The only thing we have to do is get ready to go back to work, all right, on Wednesday, and we'll go from there. I do know that.
There you go. Aaron Glenn, NewYorkJets.com.
Now, first of all, I give Aaron Glenn a lot of credit because he owned it.
I've already seen stuff on the internet that Aaron Glenn's getting feisty with the media.
Sure. Because it's New York and New York media sucks. The Frankie Vitz, go ask him about it. What I'll say is good for him for having the wherewithal to know that the problem is him and the rest of the coaching staff, and that you guys let one game kind of color what the Buffalo Bills and your assumptions of what the Buffalo Bills are. Here's the thing. Baptisms. Think about what a baptism is. It's your introduction into the fold, right? Like when you're baptized in church, it's the thing that brings you under the tent. They go, hey, you've been baptized. Now you're allowed in. You're part of us. You're a part of a thing. Aaron Glenn just got baptized, whether he realizes it or not. He got baptized into the NFL and into the AFC East. because the AFC East, everyone's been getting baptized by Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills for the better part of a decade now. And it's not going to stop anytime soon. Sunday was proof of that. And I don't know. It's an act of cleansing, of union. I'll tell you what, it's hopefully has stripped away the ego from this coach. And it sounds like it has. It's cut him down to, oh man, I thought this was going to be easy. Holy shit, did that get out of control? Did that get nuts? And we didn't have an answer for it, Chris. We didn't know what to do. I just got hit by a hurricane with the number 17 slapped on the side of it. And I don't understand. I don't know. It was a lot of blue. It was a lot of white jerseys with blue pants, and they were just steamrolling our players. And it very quickly got away from us. You know, it takes me back to Gerard Mayo, who got fired last season after his one and done year in New England. And he admitted to the media about week 14, week 15. Someone in the media asked, hey, so did you have a plan to develop some of these players? And he was like, yeah, we had a season-long plan of how we were going to bring some of the young guys along and what we were going to focus on. And then once we started winning, we could work on the other things. He goes, and then it just all happened so fast. We were one of the worst teams in football. And then he got fired. Aaron Glenn sounds like a guy who, at least because he's a player and he's been there, he understands the dynamic of the slide and what can happen when you just saw how steep the mountain really is. The problem is, what are you going to do about it? So welcome to the NFL, Aaron Glenn. You're now a part of this thing, and you're now a part of the AFC East, which clearly understands who runs it. You didn't know before today, and now you understand why the Buffalo Bills are back to back to back to back to back champions. It's our world, and you live here until you figure out what you're going to do about it. He now knows that, and his pride has been set aside, and it'll be very interesting to see how this Jets team rebounds. Chris, I saw something where the Justin Fields QBR was like 1.1.
Yeah.
One of the on a scale of 140, 1.1. I don't think that's great. It's just shocking to me. There's a million other things I wanted to talk about. You know, I wanted to get into the fact that Dawson Knox is just a roller coaster to fucking watch. His pan hands, just a thing. Welcome, Joseph Fryer. Welcome to the party, pal. That's exactly it. It's Sean McDermott just leaning out the window, being like, "Hey, man, what? This is crazy, right? Shit's wild over here in the AFC East." I just want to take a look at these comments. Glenn was baptized. Will the Bills get McDaniel terminated Thursday night? I'll tell you what. We're about to finish this and then go record with Elf Artiaga, do his spot to round out our preview show for the week. It's going to be an interesting one because I'm going to call him to the carpet on a handful of things that he's defended over the years. It's going to be hard for him to summarize, but I don't think there's any coach that looks more rudderless in the entire NFL than Mike McDaniel. I personally own a couple hundred units of Mike McDaniel being the first head coach to get fired in the NFL. Nothing would make me happier than us being able to put a referendum on the fact that the AFC East is ours Thursday night. Drew got picked up to play nickel corner with all the injuries. Our world. Minus 12.5 favorites. Destroyed the New York Jets. Winners of 2 conference games, 0-2. You're impressive. You're leading every single power ranking in the NFL. Chris, when we started this podcast, do you ever think we'd be here?
I thought people would listen. I mean, you're quite entertaining, and you know, it should be
talking about the football team, asshat.
Oh, I thought you were talking about you.
No, I know I'm entertaining. I'm gorgeous, right?
I don't think you're gorgeous. But I don't know. I'm paying attention to the chat. I just called Mike Partham, the Rockpile Report's Jane Goodall.
Not gonna lie, when he comes over and hangs out and watches me pre and post game, he could write a whole documentary about just like Drew in the Mist.
Well, Partham was like, "You get that audio of McDaniel for the preview? Did you get CC'd on the email?" Yes. How do you know that Drew asked me to get that audio?
Guys, I love it. Yeah, Super Mexicans all fired up for Elf. Guys, this is so much. See, Tracy, yes, this shirt is Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang is for the children. This week, I took my children to the game. I just thought it was fitting. Also, I did a barbecue like investor event today. It was crazy. Got to hang out on a golf course and drink beer all day and just not even sell barbecue things, just dish up wings and talk about my company. And it was fun, but I had to shower, and this was the only shirt I had that wasn't painfully wrinkled. So I did this for you people. Hopefully you appreciate it. Smash the hashtag sports, smash that like button, or Drew goes back in his enclosure again. Here's what I love. We never encourage anybody to follow, but if you did, it would bother Mark Smith, which would mean the world to me. It would bother Mark Smith, which would mean everything to me. Ryan Lasel, hammer the like so Chris won't need to use the taser on Drew to wrap it up. Guys, I'll keep this plane in the air all night long. Now, we got to get out of here so we can go record a spot. This has been fun. The Bills are 0-2. I've never been happier about watching a team and feeling better about
We'll let that slide.
Where we stand in the AFC hierarchy after today. I don't know. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to start looking too far down the road. I will tell you that Chiefs-Bills game just took on a lot more gravitas. With the Chiefs losing the way that they did this week, the fact that they started 0-2 for the first time since 2014, the fact that the Ravens lost to us, and then they beat the Browns, but they didn't beat the Browns the way they were beating the Bills. They didn't play the Browns as well as they played the Buffalo Bills week 1. We might actually be the class of the AFC, and that thought is terrifying. It's great. It's wonderful. It's scary. I can't wait to ruminate on it. And I appreciate all of you guys for showing up while we ramble about it. But for tonight, we got to get the hell out of here. I'm Drew Gear. That's Chris Kruger. This has been your Rock Pile Report.